We had over 500 people from 35 states participate in our March on Capitol Hill. We visited about 185 offices for about a 3-hour time period. It's probably one of the most important things that this conference really brings. It's bringing a face to this industry to go meet with their elected officials, firsthand, give personal stories, build relationships, and really try and connect, kind of what's happening out there in the real world versus what, members of Congress kind of deal with every day here in Washington, D.C. There was 3 or 4 major issues. Electronic mandatory verification, E-Verify, what it's called, is currently moving through Congress, and that's going to have a very significant impact on agriculture in general, and it's really going to impact especially the production agriculture and the impact it's going to have related to the ability to have a viable workforce for harvesting and the production of fruits and vegetables. Also, we talked a little bit about the 2012 Farm Bill, which Senator Stabenow from Michigan, the chairman of the Senate Ag Committee, is really engaged in right now, and kind of what that means. We've had her and a number of other members of Congress really had a significant impact in the 2008 Farm Bill, where they were able to invest over $3 billion in the special crop industry for things like pest and disease, nutrition programs, state block grants. Thirdly, we talked about food safety, the importance of food safety, importance for Congress to exercise their oversight of food safety related to FDA. They just passed a new law that really reformed the whole food safety laws of this country, haven't been reformed in the last 70 years. They passed that last December, Congress did. The President signed it in January. Now they're into the implementation stage. Certainly the budget is driving the debate on the Farm Bill this year. We have a new, they call a super committee that's currently making decisions on how to reduce the deficit. That has kind of accelerated the discussion on the Farm Bill. Traditionally, the Farm Bill is probably a 1 to 2 year process to kind of do hearings and markups, and the House passes their version, the Senate passes their version. They kind of come together and work out the differences. What has happened now is with this super committee, both the House Ag Committee and Senate Ag Committee are making some strategic decisions of whether or not they want to use this next 3 months to write a farm bill. So maybe a few weeks, something takes 1 or 2 years, they're going to try to write in a few weeks, quite frankly, and merge it into this deficit reduction package that Congress is taking on right now and will be passing in December of this year. So it's quite a challenge, but the budget is really driving all of this, and not budget in terms of more money. It's budget, dealing with less money and less resources in the federal government. So it is quite of a challenge and quite an undertaking that the committees are taking on right now to try and kind of forge this quick consensus on a 1,000-page bill, quite frankly, and put it into this deficit reduction package. I think it has to do with political necessity. I think there are going to be challenges if they wait till next year. I mean, I think they have made those assessments to pass a farm bill on its own without trying this process, that the politics of moving a farm bill and developing new plans and new policies is going to be quite a challenge for them. If they let this go out through the end of next year. Election year, not a lot of legislation gets done in election year. They've kind of looked at all those political calculuses and have made a decision. At least they're going to try, for the next 4 months or 3 to 4 months until the end of December to really forge some farm bill proposal that they think can get through Congress under this kind of fast-tracked scenario that they're doing under deficit reduction. It's not the best of worlds. We've not seen this before. There's no guarantee that they're going to be successful. There's no guarantee Congress is going to agree on how to cut $1.5 trillion out of the budget. I mean, even if they come to agreement, there's no guarantee that the full Congress is going to be able to cut that much money and kind of come together and agree what this group of 12 House and Senate members are going to propose to the full Congress. So it's a daunting task, but they seem to be very committed to trying to move it forward in the next 3 to 4 months. From the political perspective, members of Congress, I think there's very mixed reaction. There are some who are very concerned this process may not work, it may not be viable. When you're talking about something this important, that it's the law that really sets the foundation for farm law in this country over the next 5 years. Is this the best way to do it? I think there's a lot of questioning about that, and if this really is the best approach to write something like that in this short amount of time. I think from the stakeholders, so not just fruit and vegetables and the people here, but all other agriculture commodities, they are looking at this from a perspective of what is in the best interest of our commodity. So the corn guys may have one view, we may have another view as the fruit and vegetable industry. Dairy people may have another view. So it's kind of it's kind of a Rubik's Cube and trying to figure out what's the right stakeholder calculus in terms of creating a coalition of people that can help move a bill forward if the committees decide to move forward in this expedited fashion. Right now, Congress, at least the House, is considering a mandatory electronic verification system. Right now it's voluntary. Department of Homeland Security provides that. So basically what it is, it's verifying that your employees are documented, and that their documents that they provide you to verify their status as a citizen, status of their residency, and all of that are legal. Right now, multiple states are doing that on different levels. Arizona kind of kicked it off. There's 22 different states that have state e-verify laws. And for the most part, that's pretty good, and we support that type of process. I mean, we do support that. But when you couple that with the impact it could have on production agriculture, when you're looking at 60-70% of agriculture that the workforce maybe here with documents that are legal, but they're not their documents, and to throw them into that system without a workable program that brings workers here legally and can also really what's the word I'm looking for here? Really try and a viable and legal workforce. So in other words, they have enough people they're able to harvest the crops throughout the season, during their harvest season. That's a big challenge. It is something that putting those two together, if you don't put those two type things together, it will not work for agriculture. We're unique. Because we're a very labor-intensive industry, and you put this on the agriculture community, and you require this for them to do this, and don't provide a legal guest worker program that brings people here to this country legally that can help harvest their crops. It's going to be chaos out there in terms of the labor supply for our industry. And quite frankly, we've tried and tried. It doesn't work with domestic workforce. We've tried it. There's been many episodes of that, and it just doesn't work. I think either E-Verify gets killed, quite frankly. I mean, that's one option in terms of the federal movement in the House and the Senate, or you attach a workable guest worker program to that bill as it moves through Congress. Now, if they just try to kill it, the problem is you've got states now who are passing these laws, so it's not going to go away. So that's why we think the more practical solution is to attach, or is to have, as this bill moves forward, and have a federal, state, or federal requirement that's consistent across all 50 states, also attached to a electronic or a guest worker type program is the most practical approach.